Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Sarah Long once stated, "My grandfather was a wonderful role model, and through him I saw the gentle side of man." Today I have the honor and privilege to reintroduce to you Joe Crozier, but to me he was Papa. We are going to remember the life lived here as well as how he will be remembered. I will reflect on the type of person my Papa was. Today I will reminisce on his life, but first let's go back to the year 1937. In 1937, Joe Crozier was born in Fort Gaines, Georgia, to the parents of Wilmer and Susie Crozier. He had one brother, Raymond, and two sisters, Evelyn and Carolyn. He married his high school sweetheart, Kathleen, and together they had three children, Allison, Ronnie, and Carl. At 17, Joe Crozier enlisted into the Air Force, but to do that he had to get permission from his mother, because at the time, still is, but at the time you had to be 18 to enlist into the military. So he asked his mom, "Hey, can I join?" And she finally told him he could. So at 17, he joined the Air Force and did communications. But with his time spent in the Air Force, he did an array of things from testing nuclear bombs to living in Morocco. You name it, he did it. He was in for 20 years of active, and then he did 20 years combined on the civilian side at Fort Rucker, Alabama, where he eventually ended up retiring out of Fort Rucker, Alabama. When it comes to things he taught me pretty much everything, but some things that stood out to me, and I still remember to this day, that were super fun as a little child growing up and going up to the grandparents' house was, he bought me my first BB gun. I remember I was big into cowboy and Indian, so he bought me my first BB gun, and it was a Red Ryder, and he would take me and my brother out back and pretty much just the fundamentals from scratch. He'd get a little paper plate, and we had this little coffee can that he kept in his garage that he would trace the bottom of it with a Sharpie upon that paper plate. He'd nail it to his wooden fence. And as we got better, those circles would begin to get smaller and smaller, and he'd make a little bullseye in the middle. For every time we hit that bullseye, he'd give us a nickel, so it was kind of like a competition between me and my brother who could be that best shot. Something else, too, is my grandfather loved spending time with all of us. He had 5 grandchildren, so every time that we were all together, he took advantage of it and didn't like to show attention more to others than the rest of us. So out at his farm in Fort Gaines, where it was his house where he grew up, he had this tractor that he would ride around. We loved to sit on his lap and ride around with him. But then he got to thinking, well, I can only take one of you at a time, so I'm going to try to make something where I can pull or ride around everybody. So he constructed this shed or this sled out of some wood that he had got from the hardware store downtown. And it was this huge sled that could hold 10, 15 people. Ended up just got a little thing that he could hook onto the back of his tractor, and we'd all sit on that, and he'd just pull everybody at the same time, and we loved that. We would go all the way through the whole farmland. It was awesome. So let me end by saying Joe Crozier was a very honorable and Christian man. He loving grandfather, taught me how to be a gentleman. Just the real, just basics, just everything in life, just to be a better man. And I remember him all the time, and just little things I see throughout the day will just kind of bring back his memory to me and the lessons that he has instilled upon me. And I look forward to teaching my little one the same ones that I learned from him. John Wayne once stated, "Tomorrow is the most perfect thing in life. Comes in at midnight, perfect, but it's up to you with what you do with it."